Cool. Cool. So you're applying for the writer role.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm a graduate student of Cultures of Arts, Science, and Technology at the moment. So I like introducing myself by foregrounding that I'm a very creative thinker. I'm a synesthete and a writer because I usually write a lot in my free time, and that's the form in which I like to express myself creatively. So that's the basics. Do you have anything specifically you would like to know?
Um, so you did you already graduate or are you a grad student currently?
Yeah, I'm currently a grad student.
Cool. Where at?
Well, my university, I'm currently in Europe because I'm studying there. So it's at like Maastricht University.
Okay. Awesome. Cultures, and you said you're studying cultures, art, and technology. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty interdisciplinary. So there's
Wow.
like a lot of different focuses. My prime focuses are currently design thinking, so gamification and in general digital media.
Um, is there any specific cultural aspect you're focusing on? Like, is it um, pertain to the country that you're in?
No, not really. It's more in a way how, let's say, technology influences culture.
Neat. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've never heard of that
yeah,
as
it's
a
good.
like specific study. So that's really
Yeah.
cool. So what kind of projects do you work on within that field?
So for now, it's been mostly research based, so doing a lot of different research projects. Um, but for example, a recent project that I was working on was to just anticipate what kind of influence will AR technologies have in the future on different users.
Cool. Um, so it sounds like you're a very strong writer, especially if you have to do like a lot of research based.
Yeah.
Um, Neat. So yeah, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the like RPG in the workshop, um,
Mhm.
and like how I fit into that and how we see the workshop fitting in and just kind of like the overall details. But before I
Mhm.
tell you, I'd like to get an idea of what you already know,
Yeah.
and then I can just fill in the gaps. So like, have you gotten to play the RPG demo?
Oh, actually, I couldn't play it for some reason because, like, in
Okay.
my pre-interview survey thing, I actually filled in yes that I played it because I was wanted to download it before it, and then I couldn't install it for some reason, so I haven't played it. I just watched the trailer on YouTube.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Do you have a Mac?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I had a feeling if you were having trouble playing it, we've been having definitely a lot of problems with Macs.
Oh, okay.
And yes, that is my fault. So probably now is a good time to tell you my role. Uh, so I'm the lead programmer
Yeah.
on the RPG, and I do not have a Mac. So that is
Okay.
part of the problem.
Yeah, that explains it then.
But so yeah, Deviancy Tech is the development team that I'm part of
Mhm.
that is working on the game. And so it all started with some of the founding Discord members
Mhm.
just starting school to learn how to be game designers and game artists, but they didn't have the experience, but they knew about this game that they wanted to create. And
Mhm.
so we started creating it with their guidance. Um, and but they also wanted to contribute. So what we did was create this like pipeline
Mhm.
and like resources to teach them how to make the game art and animation in this style.
Yeah.
And so they kind of like passed that along to their friends that were also studying with them. And then we kind of made this Discord for everybody that wanted to learn, contribute, just get an opportunity to meet others or opportunity to
Mhm.
like be paid to contribute to a game that will be released. And so, yeah, the goal is to find a publisher and release it. But even if we don't find a publisher, the game will be released on Steam and itch.io, which is like another game platform.
Mhm.
Um, cool. And yeah, so that kind of leads me into my next question, which is like, what do you know about the workshop?
Yeah, well, so far what I know kind of boils down to what I've read both in your website. also from Discord. I'm familiar with the game mechanics, and I also listened to the meeting that you had on Sunday, which was mostly about the creative path, but other things. Should I go more deeper into how I perceive the game, or I mean,
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
yeah. Well, I really like the graphics, for example. And that's kind of what triggered me, and yeah, triggered my motivation, to be honest, at the first place, because I really like that you're inspired by the cartoons from the 1920s and things like that, because I grew up on them, to be honest. I really like the setting in the Roaring Twenties. That's also something I really liked, and that was also part of why I decided to apply and what motivated me. And I also like the game mechanics based that because they're based really on theater, so the comedy and tragedy types of characters and so on. So I don't know if something
Yeah.
else now I should add or.
No, that's perfect. And so you've played or you watched the trailer for the
Yep.
demo, so you saw like that battle system where you're selecting jokes.
Yep.
So what we've done since that demo is created kind of a newer battle system, where instead of that being the main way to kind of not damage but interact with the opponent, there's other abilities you can do before that happens that will kind of boost that heart meter that was there. And so the idea is to use like music and like other kind of performance aspects to get the opponent's affinity towards you up. And then when they like really like you, you can use that joke to convince them to come to your side. So that's just like some of the updates we've been working on since that demo came out, as well as putting together some of the other locations that are outside of Otto's house.
Yeah, I heard about that as well. That was also mentioned on Sunday.
Yeah, cool. So is there anything that you've been wondering about that I haven't really talked about?
Well, maybe in more just concretely about the writer position, what do you guys expect from writers? I mean, I'm aware that you, as far as I know, will focusing be more on for the writers to write quests and things like that, but just if you could briefly explain in more detail.
Yeah, so the way it's going to work is after this first kind of round of interviews, we'll start onboarding people into the main workshop Discord. And then so for writers, the idea is that you'll submit kind of like a short writing sample, just so we know you're like kind of thinking along the right lines, theme and tone wise. And so like we'll give you like a little bit of feedback on that. And then once we see that you're like on the right track, we'll start assigning some of those quests out for people to write. And then part of that will also be like you'll be able to see the list of like art assets that we have. And so you can use, those are like the types of things you can use in the quest. And then, yeah, we'll like work with you on a due date for it. And we're pretty flexible about that. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Cool. So have you ever seen anything like the RPG or like the workshop? Like whether it's like a YouTube channel or a blog or just other games?
You mean in the sense like, what do you mean like in the sense of the topic? That something is similar or?
Yeah, so like for the RPG, have you ever seen anything that's like in the same style or uses the same type of battle systems?
Honestly, not really. I mean, it did remind me a tiny bit of the Pokemon Game Boy games that during the 90s. It slightly reminded me of that, but other than that, not really. The game mechanics, especially, I haven't played or seen anything that has similar game mechanics.
And what about the workshop? Have you ever seen any sort of like collaborative kind of effort like this?
No, not really.
Okay.
And yeah.
Cool. So that pretty much wraps up my questions about like the game and the workshop specifically. And now I kind of just want to get to know like you a little bit and like what your kind of goals are. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah, that's a difficult question always for me. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, I mean, I'll be graduating soon, so that's my first step, I guess.
Yeah.
But after that, I definitely want to find a job. And I've been really getting interesting because I told you I've been working a lot on gamification, and I was kind of thinking of finding something along these lines. Or in general, I mean, one of the reasons why I started applying for this position as well is because I would like to get more experience in the game industry because I really, I don't know, I just like it, I guess. So
Mhm.
hopefully in 5 years I would be able to find a job, I guess, that is related to it.
Cool. Yeah, so I think that answers my next question too, which is
Okay.
how we can like help you towards that goal.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so like if that's how we can help you, what are some like challenges that you see working in the workshop?
Hmm. I don't see really challenges. Like, I mean, depending on the whole setting and the dynamics. I mean, for me, the biggest, I guess, thing is to have really proper communication and feedback from your side as well. That would help me kind of develop myself
Mhm.
as a writer in the game industry and things like that. But I couldn't think of any challenges per se.
Cool. No, that's perfect. Yeah. Um, and so like if those are some of the possible challenges, what are some things we could do that would like make sure that you feel you're getting the right feedback and communication?
Hmm. Well, that's pretty straightforward. Just literally have it. So you mentioned, for example, that we're going to have to submit this short writing sample. So based on that, if I get proper feedback, so comments from you and things like that, what I could improve further on, that would be something that would help me develop.
Perfect.
Just like pointers, yeah, in which direction to go with the writing and things like that.
Cool. So now, like, imagine that there are no limits to the workshop. You can have anything you want. We can do anything you want. How could we exceed your expectations?
Exceed.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, if like being able to provide feedback on your work and um, like being able to be paid and have this opportunity kind of meet your expectations,
Mm-hmm.
like the next thing we could do that would be like just beyond what you expected us to be able to do.
Oh, hmm. I think it will probably be something related to the way my writing would be incorporated in the game, um, and also in the game elements that I would maybe have influence on with the writing. I don't know if if suddenly, I don't know, you guys told me, oh, we really like this, we would really like to use this idea to develop something XYZ, that would probably be for me, I guess, exceeding my expectations.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's a great answer. I like
Okay.
um yeah, it seems like you've got like a good passion for like wanting your like being able to share your ideas and um
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's awesome. Are there any other questions you have for me?
Maybe more like just a technical thing and like in which period could we like expect you guys to further contact us or just get let us know what's gonna happen next after the interview and things like that?
Yeah, so these interviews are gonna wrap up around the first week of June.
Hmm.
And so at that point, you should hear more from us.
Okay.
But also before then, we'll be, constantly having those like Q&A sessions and
Hmm.
weekly meetings. And then we'll also be having that uh, character creation bout
Yeah.
competition. So definitely, um, like if you have the time, contribute to that. It's a
Yeah.
good way to like win the prizes, but
Hmm.
also like um, be able to it's kind of a good opportunity to get noticed because if
Yeah.
you come in first in any of those categories, you kind of automatically get
Hmm.
onboarded into the main Discord.
Yeah, I read. I actually applied already for the
Oh,
solo track,
awesome.
so yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, looking forward to it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all the questions I have for you.
Okay. Yeah, that were all the questions I had as well. So
Awesome. Glad that I could help. So it was super nice meeting you, Dora.
yeah, it was super nice to meet you as well.
Cool. And I will talk to you later then.
Yeah.
Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.